Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well. We'll get started here in just a second. We'll go over the market, go over the plays from today, and talk about what to expect the rest of the week. Let's get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 16th, 2021. Qs basically flat on the day, was weaker, and then SPY up 0.25%, new all-time highs. Looked weak in the morning, so I thought that this morning we talked about a couple different scenarios that might give us kind of a stronger bias or identify the next momentum move in the market. And so we'll kind of review those. But as you know, coming into this week, we were bullish on the Qs and the SPY and neutral on the IWM. Okay, so that's like the overall larger time frame bias. Kind of trying to anticipate to see, what if, how could things change? Okay, so what would that change mean? IWM would have to kind of pick a direction, which it is still struggling to do so since mid-July. And Qs and SPY, kind of SPY has been just making new all-time high after new all-time high, and then Qs just basing at the all-time highs. So those have been obviously bullish. So the thing that I thought might change things or be the start of something was if the SPY got sold. Okay. And the reason I was thinking maybe the SPY, if it gets sold today, breaks the hourly uptrend, it might be the start of something, is because we had a base here and then we're actually gapping underneath the base. And on the daily here, we were gapping underneath the bar from Friday. And like I said in the morning, usually when you gap underneath a previous day's bar, that's bearish, or just like if you gap over a previous day's bar, that's bullish. In this case, this bar is so small and it's back into support that I said, as far as this, being a bearish, this is probably the least bearish that something like this could be. Because this bar is just so small and then there's so much support to the left. But, I was like, going to wait and see. And so initially, when we opened and we got sold, it seemed like we got the start of something. I said, okay, we'll keep an eye out. Do we get, if, today we close weak, then, maybe it is the start of a pullback. Well, what did the SPY do? Just went into a power trend and went back up. Okay. So what is a power trend? It's when the trend is moving parallel to the 20 MA, and the 20 MA is around a 45-degree angle. Okay. What keeps this from going vertical, what keeps this from going flat, is that you maintain the trend, but you also don't accelerate. Okay, so you want to see another power trend? Here's the SPY. These trends are more like, or are tend to keep on going. They're hard to pick the top on stuff like this. Okay, and they often go through levels of resistance that is to the left, just like the SPY did last year. Okay, so you don't want to bet against these trends when they look like this. You see how similar this trend is on the 5-minute and the weekly? This is a power trend. Okay, now if we accelerate up, then we're looking for a climactic top, then we maybe get a trend change. Okay, and something like this, we could also get, I don't know, a big gap down underneath the most recent pivot right here. That's pretty unlikely. Both those scenarios right now are just hard to foresee and hard to predict, so we're not really trying to. So that just means we stay bullish for the time being. Qs and SPY remain bullish going into tomorrow. IWM still has not picked a direction. We'll see. Neutral on this, and I think that's been the right place to be, right? I mean, look at this stuff. Neutral means you can try to short at resistance and buy at support, because you're basically inferring or expecting a sideways trend to continue. It's not my kind of thing to do. I find generally these sideways trends can be very sloppy and easy to get shaken out of, so I don't like getting involved in them too much. So really the IWM, there's like kind of nothing for me to do here, okay, except kind of let it do whatever it wants to do. Okay, so for the time being, neutral on this. If we stay in this area, maybe closer to 216, we could kind of turn back to bearish on the IWM as we were here, but we'll see. Okay, right now, I'm not sure. Just going to stay neutral. If we break out over by the end of the week or something, maybe then we can return to, we can be bullish on the IWM. Right now, I think neutral is just the right place to be. All right, let's go over the plays from today. The VET was a gap down, reported earnings. Energy was also gapping down, but that wasn't the reason I played it. I actually would have preferred if energy were gapping up and this were gapping down, and this were showing a lot of weakness to the sector. I would have preferred that, but I still liked the gap, and I liked that it was a very tight stop, so that was the reason for the play. I thought we didn't have support until maybe 640 or so. So that was going to be, if it got there, a pretty nice play. It was a very tight stop. The stop on this was only 9 cents, okay, and it entered at 674, okay, 8 cents, I think, 9 cents. So that was really nice and tight. Got a first target, lived through the pullback, and then tightened the stop up here. So this didn't end up making much. Because I did get trailed out right above that base there. So right above, I lowered the stop to here. Not really part of the plan. Just kind of, I just felt like, okay, we tried to come in, that got bought, so I'm going to lower the stop, okay, on the VET. So got trailed out there, thought it might be a mistake there, but then it kind of went back up and then went back down. So this one ended up moving kind of odd. If I had been closer to sticking with management, I would have trailed off the hourly over 665. So, and then you see it did close here kind of near the lows anyway. So, yeah, bright idea on this. I think that's just what happens. If you take a play, and on this one, I wasn't 100% sure just because I don't really like trading energy. So that's the reason for kind of the deviation from management and getting a little bit too tight on this, but that's fine. It also, I'm sure part of that was just I just wanted to protect it from locking in the front half, locking in some on the back half. I think, that just, especially because I just wasn't that sure on this one. The play in the afternoon, the OSCR, though, I did like a lot more. This is pretty standard as far as setup. I didn't have any kind of sector issues or anything. So you can see here, this was a 15-minute sell setup that gave a secondary entry. So 15-minute sell setup, got the bounce, 20 MA catches up and played it underneath here. Okay, so that was nice. Good follow through. We were in it just about till end of day on the final piece there, 5-minute bar by bar. We did take some on the first retest in here to low of the day, took some, took another piece when it dropped to 1220. And then the last piece trailed over 1220 anyway. There were no real targets for this, just because it's at all-time lows. And so this was the only concern on this one, is that on the larger time frames, we are getting a little bit novice. It's a lot of bars down in a row. How many, buyers are still needing to get out? How many people are still looking to initiate new shorts in this? That's what we need in order to have supply and get the thing to continue moving. And so, but just definitely bearish. So this was kind of a nice way, at least, to end the day. So as you can see, not too much really today, I thought. Gaps list was okay. PSFE was my favorite gap this morning, but it got going a little bit in a way that I just didn't really like the entry. So as a 1-minute high-low, that's okay. There's a little bit of tails on either side. And then as a breakdown, this ends up being okay, I guess. Yeah. But never got involved in this. But here's the gap. Thought the gap was really nice. Okay. All right. So we'll see what we get tomorrow. I thought tonight's gaps list was a good size. So hopefully that'll produce some gaps for us to play. And we won't just run out of things to do here as earnings season continues to wind down. Especially because of the way that the market's in this power trend, it does produce a little bit less volatility. So we're a little bit more reliant on these individual names that are moving. But we'll see. Things could always change pretty quickly. But, I thought today was fine. Even for like, even if it were earnings season for Monday, yeah, it's fine. So we'll see what we get tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. Have a good evening.